My precious child, sit with me for a moment in the quiet space between your heartbeats, for I have much to tell you that your weary spirit needs to hear. I have seen the way you carry yourself through the world, shoulders tight, breath shallow, always waiting for the next storm to break. I know where that tension began. I was there in the quiet hallway of your childhood home when the silence was too heavy or the words were too sharp. I saw the child who tried to be perfect just to be noticed, or the one who hid away just to be safe. I saw the hands of those who were meant to be your first reflection of me, but who were themselves broken, casting shadows where there should have been light. I am here now, not simply to observe your pain, but to reach into the deepest parts of your history and pull the thorns from your spirit. The wound your father left, the vacancy where protection should have been, the coldness where strength should have stood, I am filling it with my own unshakable presence. The ache your mother left, the conditional love, the criticism, or the absence that taught you that your needs were a burden, I am washing it away with the waters of my infinite grace. You have spent so long trying to provide for yourself because you learned early that you could not rely on the ones who gave you life. This is why you wake at 3 in the morning worrying about your finances. This is why every unexpected bill feels like an attack on your very existence. You are operating from a spirit of lack because your earthly foundation was cracked. But I am the Ancient of Days, the architect of the universe, and I am stepping in to be the parent you never had. I am not just a god in the distant heavens. I am your provider here on earth. I am rearranging the circumstances of your life even as you read these words. Do you hear the sound of the wind? That is my spirit moving through your bank accounts, your workplace, and your relationships. I am closing the chapters of struggle and opening the windows of heaven. You are no longer an orphan of circumstance. You are a child of the Most High. The loneliness that haunts you in the quiet moments is an invitation to realize that I have never left your side. Every tear you shed in secret was caught in my palm. I am restoring the years the locusts have eaten. I am bringing a miracle into your home today, not because you have earned it through your striving, but because I love you with a love that has no beginning and no end. Let go of the need to fix everything yourself. Let go of the anger you hold toward those who failed you. Their failure was a symptom of their own blindness, but your healing is a testament to my sight. I am healing your bloodline. The cycles of poverty, the cycles of abandonment, the cycles of fear, they end with you. Today, I am placing a robe of favor upon your shoulders. Walk with your head held high, for the King is your father, and the Creator of all things is your mother, and we shall never let you fall. You may have been told you were not enough, that you were too loud, too quiet, or simply too much to handle. Those were lies spoken by people who did not know the treasure they held. I am the one who knit you together in the womb, and I say you are fearfully and wonderfully made. I am removing the labels of unworthy and forgotten that have been stuck to your heart for decades. I am replacing them with a single word, beloved. As this new day dawns, watch for the signs. A door that was locked will suddenly swing wide. A debt that felt like a mountain will be leveled. A relationship that felt like a desert will bloom. This is not because of your effort, but because of my promise. I am the God of the breakthrough, and I am breaking through the walls of your past to lead you into a future of abundance. Rest your mind. Breathe in my peace. The battle you have been fighting against the shadows of your upbringing is over. I have taken the sword from your hand, and I have placed my peace in your heart. You are safe. You are provided for. You are deeply, eternally loved. Do you remember the stillness in the hallway when you were small? The way you would hold your breath to gauge the temperature of the house before you dared to speak? I was there in that silence, cupping my hands around your fragile spirit like a candle flame in a drafty room. I saw the way you learned to become invisible to stay safe, and the way you learned to perform to be seen. You were never meant to be a chameleon, shifting your colors to survive the moods of those who should have been your sanctuary. Today, I am releasing you from the contract of being the fixer, the quiet one, or the disappointment. I am tearing up the scripts they wrote for you before you even knew how to read. Close your eyes and feel the weight lifting off your chest, that heavy, ironclad sense of responsibility for their happiness that was never yours to carry. You were a child, and I am the father who never misses a milestone and the mother who never turns away from a cry. I am reparenting the parts of you that are still waiting by the window for a promise that was never kept. Look at your hands. They are no longer tied by the invisible threads of their expectations. I am infusing your palms with the power to create a life that looks nothing like the one you inherited. I see the moments you have spent wondering if you are destined to repeat their mistakes, the way you catch their tone in your voice or their anger in your pulse. Do not fear. That is merely the echo of a ghost, and I am the great exorcist of the heart. I am scrubbing your DNA with my light, filtering the bitterness out of your blood until only the purity of your original design remains. Think of the kitchen table where words were once used as weapons, or the living room where the air was thick with the things left unsaid. I am walking through those memories now, placing my hand over the mouths of the shadows. Where there was a void, I am pouring a river of gold. Where there was a jagged edge of rejection, I am laying down the softest velvet of acceptance. You have spent so much energy building walls to protect yourself from the people who were supposed to be your walls. You can let them down now. My presence is your fortress, a stronghold that cannot be breached by the moods or the failures of man. I am taking you back to the day you stopped dreaming, the day you decided it was safer to be realistic than to be joyful, and I am blowing the breath of life back into those dead hopes. Watch as I stir the embers of your creativity that were doused by their indifference. I am calling forth the dancer, the singer, the entrepreneur, the healer, and the dreamer who went into hiding decades ago. You were told that your sensitivity was a weakness, a flaw in your armor. I tell you it is your greatest strength. It is the antenna that picks up my whispers. I am turning your empathy into a bridge that will lead others out of the same darkness you once inhabited. But first, you must let me nourish you. I am setting a table for you in the presence of those old memories. I am serving you the bread of belonging and the wine of worthiness. Drink deeply. There is no scarcity here. Your parents may have been unable to give you what they did not possess themselves. They were starving souls trying to feed a child. But I am the source, the overflowing fountain, the bread of life that never runs dry. I am not limited by their capacity. I am not hindered by their brokenness. I am moving through your current relationships, pruning the branches that grow out of your old wounds. I am teaching you how to receive love without waiting for the other shoe to drop. I am teaching you how to hear a compliment without searching for the hidden motive. I am softening the hypervigilance that has kept your nervous system in a state of constant alarm. Feel the tension leaving your jaw, your shoulders, your stomach. You are no longer on guard. You are no longer the keeper of their secrets or the bearer of their shame. I have taken that shame and buried it in the deepest sea, and I have placed a crown of beauty upon your head instead of ashes. Think of the holiday seasons that felt like minefields, the birthdays that felt like burdens. I am reclaiming your calendar. I am marking your days with favor and your nights with rest. I am sending people into your life who will see you with my eyes, mentors who will father your spirit, friends who will mother your soul, and a community that will celebrate your existence without requiring you to shrink. You are the pioneer of your family. You are the one who crossed the desert of their dysfunction so that your children and your children's children could drink from the wells of peace. Every time you choose to be kind to yourself, Every time you choose to speak truth over the lies of your upbringing, you are winning a battle for generations yet unborn. You are a miracle of resilience. I am so proud of the way you have kept your heart soft in a world that tried to make it stone. We are just beginning this deep work. I am going into the cellars of your subconscious, into the places where you stored the not enoughs and the never will be's. I am opening the shutters and letting the sun of my righteousness burn away the cobwebs of decades. Do not hurry this process. Allow the tears to fall. They are the holy water of your baptism into freedom. Every tear is a broken link in the chain. Every sigh is a wall coming down. I am here, I am here, I am here. I have always been here, waiting for the moment you would let me show you who you truly are. You are the heir to a kingdom of light, the beloved child of the Most High, and your story is no longer a tragedy. It is a triumphant epic of redemption. Walk with me now into the next room of your life. There is music playing there, and for the first time, it is a song written just for you. As you step into this new room, notice that the walls are not made of the heavy, dark wood of your childhood home, but of a living, breathing light that reflects your true essence. Look at the furniture of your mind. For too long, you have kept the jagged stools of self-criticism and the moth-eaten rugs of shame that were handed down to you like heirlooms of sorrow. I am moving them out now. I am replacing the air in this room, which once tasted of stifled breath and held back questions, with the sweet, expansive atmosphere of my grace. Do you remember the dinner table? I was there, sitting in the empty space between the silence and the shouting. I saw how you learned to read the weather of a parent's face before you even learned to read a book. I saw how you became a master of the invisible, shrinking your needs until they were small enough to fit into the cracks of their chaos. You thought your survival depended on your smallness, but I tell you today, your life depends on your vastness. I am going back to that young version of you, the one standing in the hallway listening to the heavy footsteps, the one wondering what they did wrong to deserve the coldness or the rage. I am placing my hand on that child's shoulder and saying, it was never yours to carry. It was their storm. You were only the beautiful landscape they didn't know how to cherish. We are untangling the knots they tied in your spirit. Remember the way they looked at you, that gaze that was often a mirror of their own disappointment, their own unhealed trauma. You have spent years looking into that cracked glass trying to find your features. Stop looking there. Look into my eyes. In my gaze, you are not a burden, you are not a project, and you are certainly not a disappointment. You are a masterpiece in the making, a soul of such intricate beauty that the stars themselves lean in to watch you grow. I am healing the way you hear my voice. For a long time, my voice sounded like theirs, demanding, distant, or conditional. You thought every blessing was a bribe and every trial was a punishment. But I am not a parent who gives stones when you ask for bread. I am the Father of lights, the Mother of mercies. My love is not a reward for your perfection. It is the foundation of your existence. Let us go deeper into the specific moments that still sting when the world gets quiet. The birthdays where you felt like an afterthought, the achievements that were met with a but or a not quite, the times you reached out for a hand and found only a wall. I am taking those memories one by one and I am bathing them in the gold of my presence. I am telling that younger you, I saw it all. I counted every tear you hid in the bathroom. I heard every prayer you whispered into your pillow. You were never alone, even when the abandonment felt like a physical weight. I was the secret strength that kept you from breaking. I was the whisper of keep going when you wanted to give up. Now look at your hands. They are trembling because they are letting go of the heavy weights of should and must that were placed on you before you were even old enough to speak. You do not have to earn your place at my table. You do not have to perform to keep my attention. I am captivated by you simply because you are. We are walking into the garden of your future now, and I want you to see the flowers that are blooming from the very soil where you were buried. Your empathy, your deep capacity to love others, your refusal to repeat the cycle, these are the fruits of your endurance. But you don't have to be the strong one anymore. You are allowed to be vulnerable. You are allowed to be cared for. I am setting a table for you in the presence of those old ghosts, and they cannot sit down. They have no power here. I am redrawing the map of your heart. Where there were borders of fear, I am drawing horizons of hope. Where there were deserts of isolation, I am carving rivers of connection. Do you feel that warmth in your chest? That is the ice of their neglect finally melting under the sun of my affection. It might feel strange at first, this lightness. You might feel the urge to run back to the familiar heavy chains because at least you knew how to wear them. But stay here with me. Sit in this joy for a while. Let the music of this new room settle into your bones. You are being reparented by the divine. I am teaching you how to play again, how to dream without the fear of being mocked, how to rest without the fear of being called lazy. This is the restoration of your childhood, not as it was, but as it was always meant to be in my heart. We are not finished. There are deeper chambers of joy I want to show you, rooms filled with the laughter you suppressed and the creativity you tucked away to keep the peace. Trust me. The wound is deep, but my healing is deeper. The night was long, but the dawn is eternal. Take my hand. Let's see what else I have prepared for you in the light of this new day. Walk with me now down the long hallway of your memory, but do not be afraid. The shadows that once loomed there have been disarmed by my presence. Notice how the floorboards no longer creak with the weight of your anxiety. Do you remember the specific way you used to hold your breath when you heard the front door open? That sharp, sudden tightening in your solar plexus. The frantic mental rehearsal of everything you had done that day to ensure you wouldn't be the target of their storm. I was there in that silence. I was the air you finally breathed when the door closed again. Today, I am untying those knots of hypervigilance. I am teaching your nervous system that the storm has passed, and it is never coming back. We are walking past the rooms where you learned to shrink yourself to fit into the narrow spaces of their expectations. See that version of you sitting on the edge of the bed, trying to figure out how to be better, so you could finally be loved. I am going to that child right now. I am sitting beside them and I am saying, you are already enough. You were enough before you did a single thing. You were enough when you failed. You were enough when you were messy. Can you feel that truth vibrating in your marrow? It is a frequency their voices could never reach. Let's look at the words they gave you, the labels that stuck like burrs to your soul. Difficult, sensitive, disappointment, too much, not enough. Watch as I take those labels into my hands. See them turn into gray ash and blow away in the wind of my spirit. I am giving you my own vocabulary for who you are. I call you desired. I call you masterpiece. I call you the apple of my eye. I am rewriting your identity not based on their brokenness, but on my wholeness. I want to address the specific way they looked at you, that coldness in a mother's eyes that felt like a rejection of your very existence, or the heavy, judging silence of a father that made you feel like an unfinished project. I am looking at you now with eyes that have seen the birth of galaxies, and yet find their greatest joy in the curve of your smile. My gaze is a steady, unwavering light that does not flicker when you stumble. I am the parent who never leaves the room. I am the parent who is never too tired to listen. I am the parent whose mood does not dictate your safety. Think of the gifts you buried because they didn't understand them. Maybe it was your laughter, which they found too loud. Maybe it was your curiosity, which they found inconvenient. Maybe it was your softness, which they mistook for weakness. I am leading you into the courtyard of your own heart where those gifts have been waiting, preserved in the permafrost of your survival. It is springtime now. I am breathing warmth upon the soil of your personality. I want you to feel the permission to be too much in my presence. Be loud, be inquisitive, be soft. There is no version of you that I find inconvenient. We are going to reclaim the milestones they missed or tarnished. The graduations where you looked for their approval and found only a critique of your hair or your clothes. The birthdays that felt like obligations instead of celebrations. I am gathering all those moments, and I am infusing them with my pride. I am the father standing in the front row, cheering so loudly it drowns out every whisper of doubt. I am the mother braiding your hair with fingers of grace, telling you stories of how much the world needs your specific light. Do you feel the tension leaving your shoulders? That is the weight of their legacy falling off you. You are not the broken one because they didn't know how to handle your gold. You are the gold that survived the furnace. And now, I want to show you the room of your future. It is not built on the blueprints of your past. I am the architect here. There are windows in this room that look out onto a sea of peace you haven't even named yet. There are shelves filled with the books you will write, the songs you will sing, and the lives you will touch because you know how to heal. Your pain is being converted into a profound empathy, a superpower that will allow you to see the hidden wounds in others. But you don't have to use it yet. For now, just be the child. Just be the one who is cherished. I'm even healing the way you speak to yourself in the mirror. That inner critic. That wasn't your voice. That was the echo of theirs. I am replacing that echo with a melody. When you look at your reflection, I want you to see what I see. A survivor who is transitioning into a thriver, a beloved soul who is no longer defined by the hands that dropped them, but by the hands that caught them. I am teaching you how to receive without waiting for the other shoe to drop. In their house, every good thing had a price tag of guilt or a hidden agenda. In my house, grace is free. The bread on this table is always fresh, and the cup never runs dry. You don't have to perform for this meal. You don't have to earn this rest. You are invited simply because you are mine. Let the silence between us be a comfortable one, like the silence of two friends who don't need words to understand one another. I am holding the space for all the anger you were never allowed to express. If you need to scream, scream into my chest. If you need to weep for the childhood you lost, my robes are wide enough to catch every tear. I am not offended by your grief. I am honored by your honesty. We are digging deep today, past the topsoil of your daily worries, down into the bedrock of your foundational hurts. It might hurt for a moment as I touch the center of the wound, but my touch is the only thing that can truly close it. I am pouring the oil of my spirit into those jagged cracks where the abandonment settled. I am filling the hollow places where the affirmation should have been. You are being reconstructed from the inside out. You are becoming a person who knows they are loved, and that knowledge will make you unshakable. The world will try to remind you of who you used to be, but I am the only one who defines your is. And you as my beloved, you as my delight, stay here in this embrace. Feel the rhythm of my heart beating in sync with yours. It is a steady, rhythmic promise. I am here. I am here. I am here. We have so much more to explore together. I have secrets of joy to whisper to you and adventures to plan that will make your past look like a flickering candle compared to the sun of your future. Don't rush. This healing takes time, and I have all of eternity to spend with you. Lean your head back, close your eyes. Let me carry the weight for a while. You've been carrying it for decades. You can let it go now. I've got you. I've always had you, even when you couldn't see me through the smoke of their chaos. Now the air is clearing. Can you see me now? Can you see how I'm looking at you? Not with a list of chores or a scowl of judgment, but with an invitation to just be. Watch as I take that memory. The one where you stood in the hallway, clutching your report card, waiting for a praise that never came, or perhaps for a gaze that wouldn't shift away from the television or the glass. I am taking that small, ignored child by the hand, and I am looking at that report card, and every drawing you ever made, and every dream you ever whispered into your pillow. I see the A you worked so hard for, not because I care about grades, but because I saw the way you tried to earn love through achievement. I am here to tell you that you had the love before you did the work. I am deleting the invisible measuring stick that was held against your height every day. You are not a disappointment. You are not too much to handle, and you are certainly not enough. I am rewiring the neural pathways that scream danger when things get quiet. I see the way you over-explain yourself to strangers, a habit born from the need to justify your existence to a parent who is always looking for a reason to find fault. You don't have to explain anything to me. Your existence is its own justification. I am the father who doesn't leave when things get messy, and I am the mother who doesn't withhold affection as a weapon of control. Look at your hands. They have been clenched for so long, trying to hold together a world that was never yours to carry. I am gently prying your fingers open, one by one. There is nothing to hold on to here except me, and I am the one holding you. Do you remember the time you were 7 and you broke that ceramic vase? You hid the pieces under the rug, your heart hammering against your ribs like a trapped bird because you knew the storm that was coming. You weren't afraid of the accident. You were afraid of the reaction. I was there in that hallway with you. I saw your small, trembling hands. I felt the ice that flooded your veins. Today I am lifting that rug. We are picking up those old shards together, but I am not angry. I am laughing softly at how precious you were, and I am turning those shards into sea glass, smooth, beautiful, and harmless. You don't have to hide your mistakes from me. You don't have to hide your humanity from me. I designed it. I know the fragility of the dust from which I formed you, and I love the dust as much as I love the stars. Let's talk about the silence. That heavy, suffocating silence that filled the car rides home after you'd failed to meet an unspoken expectation. You learned to read the air like a meteorologist, sensing the shift in pressure before a single word was spoken. You became an expert in the art of disappearance, making yourself small so as not to draw the lightning. But here, in my presence, you can expand. You can take up space. You can breathe until your lungs feel full for the first time in years. I am not a god of moods. I am not a god of if-onlys. My love is not a transaction. It is a fountain. You don't have to earn a drop of it. You were born into it. Think of the words that were spoken over you, the labels that stuck like burrs to a wool sweater. Difficult, disappointment, too much, not enough. I am reaching out my hand and plucking them off one by one. I am tossing them into the fire of my holiness where they are consumed in an instant. In their place, I am branding your heart with new names, names like desired, chosen, delight, masterpiece. I want you to feel the weight of these new words. They aren't just polite suggestions. They are the fundamental truths of your existence. When I look at you, I don't see the problem child or the invisible one. I see the reflection of my own glory, a unique facet of my character that the world has never seen before and will never see again. There were nights when you cried into your pillow, muffling the sound so no one would hear, feeling like a stranger in your own house. You wondered if there was something inherently wrong with you, some hidden defect that made you unlovable to the people who were supposed to love you best. Let me clear that up right now. The defect was never in you. The brokenness was in the lens through which they saw you. They were looking through the cracked glass of their own trauma, their own unmet needs, their own unhealed wounds. They couldn't see the light in you because they were stumbling in their own darkness. But I see you clearly. I see the gold in your marrow. I see the courage it took for you to survive their storms. And I am here to tell you that the survival era is over. It is time for the flourishing era to begin. Feel the warmth spreading through your chest. That is my peace, a peace that doesn't make sense to the mind but makes perfect sense to the soul. It's like a warm bath for your spirit, soaking away the grime of years of criticism. I am touching the parts of your memory where the rejection felt like a physical blow. I am placing my hand over those bruises. They are fading. The purple and blue of the past are turning into the clear, vibrant colors of a new dawn. You used to walk with your shoulders hunched, a permanent shield against the next disappointment. Drop them. Let them fall. My grace is your armor now, and it is weightless. We are going deeper now, down to the roots of the family tree. I am healing the ancestral ache that has been passed down through the bloodline like a bitter inheritance. You are the one where the cycle stops. I have chosen you to be the breaker of the chains. Every tear you shed in this moment is a link being dissolved. You aren't just healing for yourself, you are healing the future. You are ensuring that the children of your spirit, the people you touch, the work you do, the love you give, will never have to taste the bitterness you were fed. You are becoming a wellspring of sweet water in a dry land. Do you feel that flutter in your heart? Don't be afraid of it. That is hope. It feels foreign, I know. You've kept it locked away in a small box for protection, afraid that if you let it out, it would only be crushed again. But I am the guardian of your hope. I am the one who nurtures it until it grows into a fire that cannot be quenched. I am showing you visions of your future, not a future where you are perfect, but a future where you are whole. A future where you wake up and the first thought in your mind isn't, "What do I have to fix today?" but "I am loved." Imagine that. Imagine moving through your day with the absolute certainty that the creator of the universe is in love with you. How would you walk? How would you speak? How would you look at the people who once hurt you? You wouldn't look at them with hatred, but with a profound, quiet pity, because you have what they could never give you, and you have it in abundance. Stay here. Don't pull away. I know the intimacy is intense. I know it's easier to hide in the work or the noise, but the noise is just a distraction from the miracle. The miracle is happening right now in the silence. It's happening in the way your breathing is slowing down. It's happening in the way the tension is leaving your jaw. I am reparenting you. I am being the father who holds the ladder steady while you climb. I am being the mother who kisses the scraped knee and tells you that you are brave. I am the home you were always searching for. You aren't a guest here, you are the heir. Everything I have is yours. My strength, my joy, my unshakable peace. It's all being poured into your vessel. And your vessel is growing larger to hold it all. We aren't finished. There are rooms in your heart we haven't even walked into yet, dusty rooms where you locked away your dreams because they felt too dangerous to hold. We're going to open those doors together. I have the keys. I've always had them. Are you ready to see what's inside? The first door we approach is heavy, isn't it? It's the door to the room where you kept your goodness, the version of you that was curated to keep the peace. You remember the way you used to hold your breath when you heard the key turn in the lock. That sharp, cold spike of adrenaline, wondering which version of your parent was walking through the door. Was it the one who was tired and distant, or the one whose words were like frost on a window pane? You learned to read the rhythm of their footsteps, didn't you? You became an expert in the atmosphere, a meteorologist of their moods, always trying to predict the storm so you could find cover. But in this room, there are no storms. There is only the steady, warm light of my regard. Look at the walls here. They are covered in the things you thought were failures. That B- in 10th grade math that felt like a death sentence because it meant you weren't perfect. That time, you tripped during the recital and felt the weight of their disappointment like a physical shroud. I want you to see what I see. I don't see the stumble. I see the courage it took for you to stand on that stage when your heart was a caged bird. I see the way you tried to love them even when they didn't have the tools to love you back. That wasn't failure, my child. That was a holiness you were too young to name. Let's move deeper. There's a smaller room tucked away behind a curtain of old fears. This is the room of your too muchness. This is where you put the parts of yourself that were told they were too loud, too sensitive, too needy, or too dreamy. You were told to be smaller, to be quieter, to blend into the wallpaper so you wouldn't trigger the tension in the house. You've been living in the margins of your own life, haven't you? Let's tear down those curtains. I didn't create the stars to be dim, and I didn't create you to be a shadow. I want to talk about the silence that lived between you and your mother, the things left unsaid, the praise that was withheld like a prize you could never quite reach. You spent years trying to solve the puzzle of her heart, thinking if you just did enough, or were enough, the lock would finally click open. I am the key, and I am telling you, the lock was never yours to turn. Her limitations were not a reflection of your worth. They were a reflection of her own empty wells. I am filling those wells in you now, so you never have to thirst for a drop of validation again. Feel the marrow in your bones beginning to warm. That is my love settling into the places where the rejection once sat like lead. We are going to the kitchen of your childhood now, not the real one, but the memory of it. The place where you sat doing homework while the air felt heavy with unspoken expectations. I am sitting there with you now. I am placing my hand over yours. I am telling you that you don't have to study for my love. You don't have to pass a test to sit at my table. You are preferred. You are chosen. You are the one I've been waiting to celebrate. Do you feel that? That slight ache in your chest? Don't be afraid of it. It's the sound of your heart expanding. It's the sound of the scar tissue softening. For so long, you've used your strength to hold yourself together to keep the walls from crumbling. But I am the rock. You can let go. You can fall into me, and you will find that I am softer than the softest bed and stronger than the highest mountain. Let's look at the mirror of comparison you've carried. Your father's eyes, or perhaps the absence of them, taught you to look at yourself and see only what was missing. You looked at other families, other children, and wondered why they had the warmth you had to fight for. You felt like an orphan even when you were in a full house. I am taking that mirror from your hands. It's a distorted glass, cracked by the pressures of a legacy that didn't start with you. In its place, look into my eyes. What do you see? You see a masterpiece. You see someone who was worth the stars. You see a soul that I have fought for through every dark night you spent crying into your pillow. Those tears, I gathered them. Not one was lost. They are the seeds of the garden we are planting now. I want to show you the room of play. This is the one you boarded up the tightest. It's the room where you were a child before the world told you to grow up and take care of everyone else. You've been a little adult for so long, haven't you? Carrying the emotional weight of your parents, mediating their arguments, or filling the gaps they left behind. You've been the pillar, but pillars get tired. Come here. I am taking the weight from your shoulders. I want you to remember what it's like to just be, to laugh without looking over your shoulder, to dream without calculating the cost. There is a box in the corner of this room, tied with a ribbon of light. It's the dream you had when you were 7. The one about the colors, the one about the music, the one about the helping. It's still there. It didn't die, it just went to sleep because it didn't feel safe. It's safe now. I am the safety. I am the boundary that protects your joy. We are going to spend a long time here in this room. We aren't rushing. I want to see you smile, not the polite smile you give the world, but the one that reaches your eyes and makes the angels lean in. Can you feel the tension in your stomach start to unravel? That's the knot of trying finally coming undone. You don't have to try with me. You are already everything I wanted. Stay in this moment. Let the warmth of my presence soak through your skin and into your history. I am rewriting the narrative of your bloodline. Where there was absence, there is now my presence. Where there was criticism, there is now my song of delight over you. You are being rebuilt, stone by stone, not with the cold bricks of duty, but with the living stones of grace. There is still more to see, more to heal. Are you starting to believe that you are truly safe with me? Look at the floor beneath us. It isn't just wood or stone, it's the foundation of your identity. For years, you walked on eggshells here, testing the surface before every step to see if it would hold or if a storm would break. I see the little girl or boy who stood in the hallway, listening to the tone of a voice to decide if it was safe to come out. I am taking those eggshells away. I am laying down a floor of solid gold, the kind of gold that has been refined in the fire of my love. You can stomp here. You can dance. You can even fall, and the ground will catch you with the softness of 1,000 pillows. Let's talk about the "I'm sorry" you never heard. I know you've been waiting for it, like a traveler in a desert looking for a single drop of rain. You looked at their face, year after year, hoping for a glimmer of recognition, a moment where they would see the pain they caused and reach out to mend it. But their own wounds were a thick veil, weren't they? They couldn't give you what they didn't have. But I have it. I have the apology that was owed to you, and I am breathing it into the spaces where your heart felt hollow. I am not just a substitute. I am the source from which all fatherhood and motherhood was meant to flow. Every bit of tenderness they missed, I have stored up for you. Every word of affirmation that was withheld, I am whispering into your spirit right now. Do you remember the day you decided you had to be the strong one? You were so small, yet you took the mantle of a protector. You watched the tears in your mother's eyes and decided you would never let her see yours. Or perhaps you saw your father's distance and decided you would be so perfect, so high-achieving, that he would finally have no choice but to notice. That burden is too heavy for a child. It's too heavy for the person you are today. I am unbuckling that armor. It's rusted and tight, isn't it? It has served its purpose, but it's keeping the light out. Let it fall to the floor. It makes a loud sound, doesn't it? A clatter of iron and steel. But listen. In the silence that follows, do you hear my heart beating for you? I want to show you a hallway in this house of ours. It's lined with mirrors, but they aren't like the mirrors in your world. They don't show the wrinkles of your stress or the shadows under your eyes. They show the truth. Look into this one. See that light behind your ribs? That is the essence I placed in you before the world ever touched you. Your parents were meant to be the gardeners of that light, but some gardens are neglected. Some are even trampled, but look closer. Do you see the green shoots coming up through the cracked soil? That is your resilience. That is my grace. I am the gardener now. I am pruning away the dead branches of not enough and too much. I am watering the roots of your soul with the living water of my delight. There was a night when you cried yourself to sleep, feeling like an island. You felt that if you disappeared, the world would just keep spinning, and no one would truly know the depth of the ocean inside you. I was there. I was the pillow beneath your head. I was the air in your lungs. I counted every tear not just to record your sorrow, but to use them to water the seeds of the person you are becoming. You are not an island. You are a continent of beauty, and I am the ocean that surrounds you, protecting your shores. Let's go deeper into the kitchen of your memories. The place where words were sharp like knives or cold like the back of a freezer. I am replacing the atmosphere. I am filling the air with the scent of baking bread and warmth. I want to feed the hunger in your soul, the one that has been starving for genuine approval. Not for what you do, but for who you are. I see you when you're messy. I see you when you're angry. I see you when you're confused. And my gaze doesn't change. I don't turn away when you fail. I don't withdraw my love when you are difficult. My love is not a reward for your good behavior. It is the atmosphere you were designed to breathe. I am touching your hands now. The hands that have worked so hard to fix things, to hold things together, to mend what others broke. Relax your fingers. You don't have to hold the world together today. You don't even have to hold your family together. I am the glue. I am the sovereign. I am the one who holds the stars in their places, and I can certainly hold your life. Feel the warmth spreading through your palms. This is the gift of rest. I am teaching your hands to receive, not just to give. I am teaching your heart to be a sanctuary, not a workshop. Think of the specific way they looked at you when they were disappointed. That sharp, piercing gaze that made you want to shrink until you were invisible. I am taking that image and I am dissolving it. In its place, I am putting my eyes. My eyes are full of a wild, uncontainable joy when I look at you. When you walk into a room, I don't look for your flaws. I look for the reflection of my own glory in your spirit. I am proud of you. Do you hear that? I am proud of you. not because of your degrees or your bank account or how well you've hidden your scars. I am proud of you because you are mine, because you have survived, because you are still willing to open your heart to me, even after everything. We are going to walk through the garden of your future now, but first, we must finish weeding the garden of your past. There is a specific weed called shame. It has deep roots, hasn't it? It tells you that you are fundamentally broken because of how you were treated. It tells you that if you were better, they would have loved you better. That is a lie. Their inability to love you was a reflection of their poverty, not your worth. You were a diamond being handled by those who didn't know the value of gems. They treated you like common glass, but that didn't change your structure. You are still a diamond. And I am polishing you. I am rubbing away the dust of their words and the grime of their neglect until you sparkle with the light I gave you at the beginning of time. Let the peace settle into your bones. It's like a heavy, warm blanket on a cold night. You've been shivering for so long, trying to keep yourself warm by the fire of your own effort. But the fire of my love never goes out. It doesn't flicker when the wind blows. It is a steady, roaring flame that consumes your fears and warms your soul. Can you feel the tension in your jaw relaxing? Can you feel the weight leaving your chest? This is what it's like to be parented by the divine. This is what it's like to be truly seen and truly loved. We are just beginning. There is so much more I want to show you about who you really are, apart from the roles you've played and the wounds you've carried. Are you ready to walk further with me? To see the version of yourself that has never been hurt? That person still exists inside you, and I am bringing them to the surface. Imagine a hallway in the house of your memory. It's long and dimly lit, and for years you've kept certain doors locked, afraid that if you opened them, the darkness would spill out and swallow the progress you've made. But I am here, and I am holding the lamp. We are walking down this hallway together. Do you see the door at the very end, the one that feels cold to the touch? That is the room where you stored the words they said to you when they were tired or angry or simply empty. Why can't you be more like? You're always so much trouble. I don't have time for this. I want you to watch as I put my hand on that door. It doesn't creak, it yields. Because in my presence, every barrier dissolves. Inside this room, I see the child you were, the one who learned to read the weather of a parent's face before you even learned to read a book. You became a master of the atmosphere, didn't you? You knew the exact frequency of the footsteps in the hall, whether they meant safety or whether they meant you needed to become invisible. You learned to shrink your soul so that you wouldn't take up too much space, thinking that if you were small enough, you wouldn't be a target for their frustration. But I created you to be vast. I created you to occupy the fullness of your joy without apology. I am reaching into that room now, and I am picking up that little you. I am holding that child against my heart. Can you feel the heartbeat of the universe? It beats for you. It says, you are wanted, you are precious. You were never the problem. Do you remember that specific afternoon, the one where you did something you were so proud of, a drawing or a small achievement at school, and you ran to them with your heart open, only to be met with a distracted nod or a sharp critique? I saw the way your spirit wilted in that moment. I saw the way you quietly folded that part of yourself away and decided that being good or perfect was the only way to survive. I was there in the room with you then, even if you didn't know my name. I was the warmth you felt when you finally fell asleep after crying. I was the beauty you found in a ladybug or a sunset that gave you a fleeting moment of peace. I have always been the counterargument to their neglect. Now, look at your hands. You've been clenching them for years, haven't you? Holding onto the phantom ropes of their expectations, trying to pull yourself up to a standard that was never meant for a child of mine. Let go of the rope. You don't need to climb anymore. I am the ground beneath your feet, and I am the sky above your head. I want to talk to you about the silent treatment, that freezing cold wall that felt like an ocean between you and the person who was supposed to be your anchor. You learned that silence was a weapon. You learned that love could be withdrawn as a punishment. My love is not like that. My love is a constant broadcast, a signal that never drops, a song that never ends. Even when you run, even when you hide, even when you are silent toward me, I am speaking life over you. I am undoing the knots in your nervous system, that flutter in your stomach when you think you've made a mistake. That is the ghost of their voice. Let my voice be louder. My voice says, my grace is sufficient for you. I am moving my hand over the places in your body where you carry their disappointment. Your shoulders, which are hunched as if expecting a blow, your throat, which feels tight because you've swallowed so many truths to keep the peace. I am breathing my spirit into those tight places. Breathe with me, deep, slow, expansive breaths. This is the air of a kingdom where you are royalty. You are not a servant trying to earn a place in the house. You are the heir. Let's look at the ledger you've been keeping, the list of ways you think you failed them, and the list of ways they failed you. It's a heavy book, stained with tears and years of what-ifs. Watch as I take that book from your hands. I am not going to read it back to you. I am going to toss it into the fire of my holiness, where it will be consumed in an instant. It is gone. The debt is settled. I am not asking you to forgive them out of your own strength, for you have none left for that. I am asking you to let me forgive through you, as a byproduct of the healing I am doing in your own heart. We are going to build a new house inside you, a house with wide windows and doors that stay open, a house where the smell of cedar and honey replaces the scent of old dust and fear. Do you feel that warmth spreading through your limbs? That is the sound of the chains falling away. You have spent so much of your life trying to fix the version of yourself they broke. Stop fixing. Just be. Be the child who is loved. Be the gem that is cherished. I am looking at you right now, and I am not looking at your scars. I am looking at the radiance that is emerging from beneath them. You are so much more than what was done to you. You are more than the words that were withheld. You are my masterpiece, and the master is finally home. Shall we go deeper into the garden of your heart? There are flowers there that have been waiting for years to bloom, seeds that were planted the day you were born but were buried under the gravel of their criticism. I am raking away the stones. I am pouring the water of my word over the dry earth. Can you smell the rain? Can you feel the shift in the wind? The winter of your childhood is ending. The spring of my spirit is here. Stay here with me in this stillness for a moment. Let the truth of your value sink past your mind and into your very marrow. You are my beloved, in whom I am well pleased, not because of what you do, but simply because you are mine. Do you remember the way you used to hold your breath when you heard the front door open? That quick, instinctive assessment of the atmosphere. Was it a storm or a calm? You became an expert in the weather of another person's soul before you even knew the geography of your own. You learned to make yourself small, to tuck your needs into the corners of the rooms like dust that shouldn't be seen. I saw every moment of that shrinking. I was there in the kitchen when the silence was heavier than the words, and I was there in your bedroom when you cried into your pillow so no one would hear. You thought you were alone in your invisibility, but you were never invisible to me. I was the one holding the light when your world went dark, even when you couldn't see my hand. Let us walk now to that specific room in your memory, the one where you decided you had to be perfect to be loved. See the trophies or the grades or the chores you did with such desperate precision, hoping for a nod that never quite came, or a well done that always had a but attached to it. I want you to look at that child now through my eyes. I'm not looking at your performance. I am looking at the precious heart that tried so hard. I am picking up that child and I am telling them, you are enough if you never do another thing. Your existence is my joy. Feel the iron band around your chest begin to loosen. That band was forged from their expectations, but my love is a solvent that melts even the hardest metal. Let's go even deeper. There is a closet in the back of your heart where you stored the mistakes they highlighted, the times you were too loud, too sensitive, or too much. You've kept those labels like moth-eaten clothes, trying to fit into them even now as an adult. I am taking those labels off the hangers today. I am throwing them into the fire of my grace. You are not too much. You are a river that was meant to overflow. You are not too sensitive. You are a finely tuned instrument designed to catch the music of heaven. The very things they tried to dampen in you are the things I am lighting up. Can you feel the heat of it? It's not a burning that hurts. It's a burning that purifies. I am reclaiming your personality from the rubble of their critiques. Think of the holidays where you felt like an outsider in your own family. Think of the words that stung like salt in a fresh cut. I am applying the oil of my presence to those places. I want you to visualize me standing between you and those memories. I am your shield. When the old voices start to whisper, the ones that sound like your mother's disappointment or your father's coldness, I want you to hear my roar. I am the lion guarding his cub. I am the eagle shielding the nest. Nothing they did can undo what I have created. They were broken people trying to raise a whole child, and they leaked their brokenness onto you. But I am the potter, and I am smoothing out the cracks. I am filling the hollow places with gold, like the ancient art of kintsugi, so that you are even more beautiful for having been broken. Now look at your hands. You've spent years trying to wash off the feeling of being wrong. You've worked so hard to prove them incorrect, to build a life that shouts your worth so loudly they would have to hear it. But you don't have to shout anymore. My whisper is louder than their scream. Rest your hands. Let them be still. I am placing a signet ring on your finger, a symbol of your inheritance. You are royalty, not because of your lineage on earth, but because of your Father in heaven. The poverty of spirit they handed down to you stops here. It does not get to touch your future. It does not get to define your children or your children's children. I am breaking the generational seal of not enough. Take a deep breath, deeper than the one before. Reach down into the very bottom of your lungs, into the places that have felt constricted since you were 10 years old. Breathe in my peace. It is thick, like honey, and it is coating the raw edges of your nerves. We are standing in a hallway now, one you haven't visited in a long time. It's the hallway of your deepest longing, the longing to be truly seen. You've spent your life wearing masks to please them, to protect yourself, to survive. I am asking you to take the mask off. You don't need it here. I see the face beneath the mask, and it is stunning. It is the face I dreamt of before the foundations of the world were laid. I am not disappointed in you. I am not frustrated by your progress. I am in love with you. Let us sit here on the floor of this hallway for a moment. I want to tell you about the things I've planned for you, the parts of your heart that are finally safe to wake up. There is a creativity you buried because it wasn't practical to them. There is a joy you suppressed because it was too loud for their house. I am calling those things to the surface. I am calling the dreamer out of the cave. I am calling the dancer out of the shadows. Do you see the light flickering at the end of this corridor? That isn't just an exit, it's an entrance. It's the door to the life you were meant to have before the world told you who to be. We are going to walk through it together, but not just yet. First, I want to hold you in the quiet of this realization. You are safe. You are finally completely safe. The hands that hurt you or the hands that were never there to hold you, they no longer have power over your identity. I have overwritten their signature with my own. You are mine, and because you are mine, you are whole. Do you feel the vibration in the air? It's the sound of a new song being written in your DNA, a song of belonging, a song of home. Let the melody wash over you. Let it sink into the places where the shame used to live. There is no room for shame here. There is only room for us.